One of the reasons Jisha dreamed of becoming a lawyer stemmed from her personal experiences. On the evening of April 28, 2016, around 8:30 p.m., Jisha's mother, Rajeshwari, returned home from her duty. At the time, there was no electricity at their house, the power was out. Upon arriving, Rajeshwari called out to her daughter and opened the door, which was only partially closed. As soon as Rajeshwari lit a lantern, she was horrified to see Jisha lying on the floor in a terrible state. Her screams pierced the night as she cried out in anguish and rushed outside. A neighbor, alarmed by the commotion, came out of their house. Rajeshwari asked the neighbor to check on her daughter to see what had happened. The neighbor, using a flashlight, entered the house, only to be shocked and terrified by the scene. Jisha was lying on the floor, unclothed, covered in blood, and severely injured. It was a gruesome sight. The neighbor immediately called the police. Within a short time, the police arrived at the scene. The area was dark and isolated, adding to the grimness of the situation. Jisha's body bore numerous injuries. There were deep wounds all over her body, including her neck, which had been slashed with a sharp weapon. Scattered around the scene were alcohol bottles and a knife, suggesting the possibility of murder by an intoxicated individual. The police collected all the evidence and sent Jisha's body to a Lapuja Medical College for an autopsy. This was clearly a case of murder, and the police registered it as such. However, due to the ongoing state elections between May 16th and May 18th, no significant action was taken immediately. The next day, on April 29th, Jisha's postmortem was conducted. In such investigations, the presence of police officers during the autopsy is crucial, as they are responsible for noting the observations shared by the doctor. However, not a single officer was present, likely due to their involvement in election duties. During the postmortem, fragments of skin were found under Jisha's fingernails, suggesting she had resisted her attacker. The doctor took photographs and videographed the procedure. By the evening of April 29th, Jisha's body was handed over to her family. Her grieving relatives included her mother, Rajeshwari, her elder sister, Deepa, and an aunt. No other relatives, friends, or neighbors attended the funeral. The police granted permission for the cremation, which took place that evening. Rajeshwari and Deepa were devastated, their world shattered. Strangely, this horrific incident had not yet reached the media. Even the villagers were unaware of what had transpired. A small local newspaper published a brief report stating that a woman had been found murdered in her house. Upon reading this news, Jisha's friends learned about the tragedy and visited her home to meet her mother. Meanwhile, the police conducted only cursory questioning of the family, asking basic questions like, "Where were you? What were you doing?" A week passed, but the investigation had barely begun. Rajeshwari, traumatized by finding her daughter in such a state, was admitted to a hospital. On May 4th, the postmortem report revealed that Jisha had been stabbed 38 times with a sharp object, with wounds covering her entire body, including her private parts. Traces of alcohol were found in her mouth, indicating a heinous assault before the murder. This revelation left the police shocked and further horrified Jisha's grieving family. Initially, the police had only registered a murder case. Following the postmortem report, they added sections related to sexual assault. By now, the case had caught the attention of the media, and it became a focal point during the state election. The media launched aggressive campaigns, while social media buzzed with outrage. Activists, reporters, and political figures gathered outside the hospital where Rajeshwari was admitted, demanding justice. Protests erupted, calling for the perpetrator to be apprehended and severely punished. Opposition parties criticized the ruling party, promising a thorough investigation if they came to power. Amid this uproar, a special investigation team SIT was formed, and the probe began. The police started by questioning Rajeshwari about potential suspects. She revealed several disputes she had with local villagers, including opposition to her living on government land and other minor altercations. Additionally, Jisha's elder sister, Deepa, had been abandoned by her husband, who often threatened Jisha for defending her sister. Jisha had also lodged complaints against other individuals, but no action had been taken. During their investigation, a witness named ******, who lived near Jisha's house, came forward. She recalled seeing a man wearing a yellow shirt and black sandals near Jisha's house on the evening of the murder. Although she couldn't see his face clearly, she believed she could identify him if she saw him again. Based on her statement, the police searched the area near the canal. They discovered a pair of black sandals with bloodstains about 100 meters from the house. The sandals, along with a knife bearing fingerprints and alcohol bottles, were collected as evidence. Another witness corroborated Esreleka's statement, stating they had seen a similar man heading toward the canal. The police intensified their investigation, attempting to identify the suspect and connect the evidence to him. The witness confidently stated, "Yes, I know him. He is from this village." Hearing this, the police felt the case was solved. The witness even provided the man's name and phone number. The police called the suspect, but he didn't answer. They tracked his mobile tower location and discovered that he wasn't in Perambivor, but in Kanner district. Upon inquiring with the locals, they learned that he had left for Kanner on April 29th. The incident with Jisha occurred on April 28th, and the very next day, this suspect fled to Kanner. The police's suspicion started turning into certainty. A team was dispatched to Kanner, and the suspect was apprehended. Upon searching him, the police recovered a knife. At the station, they interrogated him rigorously, but the man denied all allegations. Another detail emerged during the investigation. The suspect was a marijuana addict. The brutality inflicted on Jisha was unlikely to be committed by someone in a sober state, leading the police to suspect the crime might have been carried out under the influence. This suspect, found to be a drug addict, matched part of the profile. Additionally, he had a knife in his possession and fled Perambivor the day after the murder. Based on these facts, the police intensified their interrogation. However, despite their efforts, the man was proven innocent. The witnesses had claimed they saw someone wearing a yellow shirt and black slippers, but a search of the suspect's house found no such clothing. The suspect explained that he had given an advance payment to a marijuana dealer who had then deceived him. This led him to Kanner on April 29th to track down the dealer. Consequently, the police cleared him of suspicion. Later, the mother of the drug addict told the police, "I know who you are looking for. He fled to Bengaluru the day after the murder." She also revealed that the suspect had been arrested earlier for harassing two girls. She provided his name and phone number. Given his previous record, the police revisited those harassment cases and sent a team to Bengaluru. Using mobile tower data, they apprehended this man as well. During questioning, he begged, saying, "I didn't commit the murder. Please let me go." The harassment cases were also due to misunderstandings. "I was in love with one of the girls and followed her. One day, when she was with a friend, I followed them, and people assumed I was harassing them." The man explained that people beat him up and handed him to the police, who later released him after finding him innocent. He even married the girl he was accused of harassing. On April 29th, he had gone to Bengaluru in search of work. The police questioned him thoroughly, but he was found uninvolved in Jisha's case and was cleared of suspicion. On May 8th, forensic experts revealed that there were bite marks on Jisha's shoulder. The marks were deep and vicious, likely inflicted by the killer. From the bite marks, the experts determined that the perpetrator had a gap between their teeth. This became a crucial lead for identifying the killer. By May 14th, the DNA of the perpetrator was obtained. Skin fragments were found under Jisha's nails, and traces of saliva were collected from the crime scene. The DNA from these matched, confirming it belonged to the killer. The police compared this DNA with that of all the suspects apprehended so far, but found no matches. Additionally, their dental structures didn't match the bite mark evidence. Pressure on the police was immense. If the case didn't progress, the investigation team was at risk of being replaced. During further investigation, they discovered a house 25 meters away from Jisha's home, where a woman resided. This woman had an ongoing feud with Jisha's mother and had a son. The police visited the house, where only the son was present. While some officers interrogated him, others searched the house. During the search, they found a liquor bottle of the same brand discovered at Jisha's house during the murder investigation. Moreover, the boy's dental structure matched the bite mark evidence. When interrogated rigorously, the boy confessed that his elder brother had loved Jisha, but she did not reciprocate his feelings. Jisha's mother, Rajeshwari, had filed a complaint against the elder brother for harassing her daughter. The police had summoned and warned him, which deeply humiliated him. Unable to cope with the embarrassment, the elder brother eventually committed suicide. The boy and his mother believed Rajeshwari and Jisha were responsible for the elder brother's death. This provided the police with a motive for the murder. Both the mother and son were taken to the station for further questioning, and the boy's DNA was tested. However, it didn't match the killer's DNA, and he was proven innocent. The media extensively covered the updates on Jisha's case. Amid this, elections took place, and a change in government occurred. Many believed that the case played a significant role in the regime change. When the new government took charge, they replaced the entire investigative team and restarted the case. It was instructed to conduct an investigation. Under the supervision of the DGP, a new team was formed, and the investigation resumed. During the inquiry, 3 women came forward. They stated that on the day of the murder, they saw a man near Jisha's house wearing a yellow shirt. He worked as a laborer in the area. Since 3 independent women provided the same statement, the police believed he was the killer. The women identified the suspect, and the police detained him for questioning. A thorough interrogation and a DNA test were conducted to match his DNA with the killer's. However, the DNA did not match, indicating that he was not the murderer. Another local man approached the police, claiming that the person they were looking for was a political leader from the area. He suggested that the leader might have committed the murder because of an old rivalry with Jisha's mother. 3 days before the murder, on April 25th, the leader's son had returned from abroad after completing his studies. The man alleged that both the leader and his son might have been involved in the crime. This rumor also leaked to the media, causing an uproar. The police visited the leader's house and questioned him. They observed a similar gap between his teeth, resembling the killer's. However, the leader vehemently denied any involvement. When the police spoke to Jisha's mother, Rajeshwari, about the leader, she also denied any rivalry. She mentioned that the leader had helped them during tough times and maintained good relations with them. It was later discovered that the local man accusing the leader had an old enmity with him and had deliberately named him to frame him. Meanwhile, the police investigated another suspect, a bus driver who lived near Jisha's house. This man had a bad habit of urinating outside women's homes, often leading to quarrels in the village. The police tried to locate the driver and called him in for questioning. However, when someone informed him that the police were looking for him, he stopped his bus and fled. This behavior made the police suspicious. They eventually caught him, but his DNA also did not match the killer's. Amid these developments, a rumor spread in the media that a policeman might be involved in the case. The suspicion arose because someone reportedly saw a man in a police uniform. However, the police clarified to the media that no officer was involved. Instead, the suspect was a music teacher who had once taught Jisha. Even his DNA did not match the killer's. The police were at a dead end. Months passed without any breakthrough. One day, a laborer came to the police and informed them about a fellow worker who had been missing since April 29th. This worker, a migrant laborer from Assam, had not reported to work. Based on the description, a sketch of the migrant laborer was created and circulated across social media and news outlets. On June 2nd, the sketch was shared with the public. By June 10th, the police found a CCTV camera at a fertilizer shop. The footage from April 28th showed Jisha heading toward her house, likely after college. Later, a man wearing a yellow shirt and black sandals was seen walking in the same direction. The police showed the photo to the informant laborer, who confirmed the identity of the suspect. The suspect was identified as Amarul, a 24-year-old man who lived near Jisha's house. He had fled on April 29th. A cyber team tracked Amarul to Tamil Nadu by June 13th. He was arrested in Kanchipuram on June 16th. Initially, he denied all allegations. However, his DNA matched the evidence 100%. During interrogation, Amarul confessed to the crime. He lived near Jisha's house and had been harboring ill intentions toward her for a while. Observing her daily routine, he planned his attack. On April 28, 2016, he got drunk, armed himself with a knife, and went to Jisha's house between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. He attempted to assault her, but when she resisted, He stabbed her repeatedly 38 times in total. Even as she begged for water in her final moments, he poured alcohol down her throat. After committing the murder, Amaral left the scene, abandoning his knife and sandals near the canal. He later changed clothes and fled to Assam. After a month, thinking the case had cooled, he moved to Tamil Nadu in search of work. On May 20th, 2017, the Kerala High Court sentenced Amaral to death. The case is now pending before the Supreme Court. Thank you for watching the full video.